Welcome to a detailed breakdown of the final season of Squid Game. Previously, Jeon, player 456, and a few desperate players attempted to rebel against the game's shadowy organizers. They managed to arm themselves, but just as they reached the stairs leading to the administrative quarters, their guns clicked empty. Two players went off in search of more ammunition. Daeho, player 388, who claimed to have a military background, froze under pressure and never came back. Jung-jae, player 120, also tried to return with more bullets, but Jung-jae's path was cut off when armed guards stormed the dormitory. With no firepower left, the rebellion collapsed. The guards showed no mercy. Every rebel was executed, except for Young-soo, player 246, a father whose only crime was trying to win money for his sick daughter. No-wool, soldier 11, shoots Young-soo in a way that wouldn't kill him, whispering just one instruction: play dead. Then she scans the chip in his neck, marking him as eliminated. The guards place his body in a coffin. Another guard notices he is still clinging to life and marks the coffin with a bloody cross, a signal that his organs can still be harvested. No-wool's superior, who runs the camp's underground organ smuggling ring, is impressed by this and believes she's finally joined their ranks. Playing along, Noel requests access to the operating room, saying there should be no secrets between partners. Meanwhile, Young-soo's coffin is quietly rerouted. Instead of being burnt in the furnace, it's sent to the operating room. Gi-hun is returned to the dormitory, not on foot, but inside a coffin. The other players gather around in shock as Jeon carefully opens the lid and discovers Gi-hun unconscious but still alive. Meanwhile, far from the island, Gi-hun's team of detectives realize their drone operator has vanished without a trace. Yoon-soo recalls hearing strange noises during the night and spotting Captain Park alone on deck. The captain dismisses it, claiming the operator probably got drunk and fell overboard during the rough waves. What the others don't know is that Captain Park actually murdered the drone operator and threw him overboard. While Yoon-soo finds the explanation suspicious, the team has no choice but to return to land to find a replacement operator. As they sail away, the dead drone operator's body washes up on rocks near an isolated island. Back in the dormitory, the aftermath of the rebellion becomes clear. 35 players were killed during the uprising, leaving only 60 survivors. The violence also claimed 12 pink guards and 8 supervisors, causing the prize money to jump to 39.6 billion won, meaning each remaining player would now receive 660 million won if they vote to leave the game. Gi-hun, now conscious, hears this and completely breaks down. Overwhelmed with guilt over his best friend's execution and all the deaths caused by his rebellion, he begs the guards to kill him too. He grabs a guard's rifle and presses it to his own forehead, but he's quickly restrained and cuffed to a bed. The front man watches on his monitor quietly, satisfied to see the man who thinks he is better than him break down. The scene shifts as Captain Park makes a secret call to the front man, revealing his true allegiance. The front man gives orders. Park must delay the detectives as long as possible, and if they get too close to discovering the island's location, he's to eliminate them all, including Junho, who is actually the front man's own brother. The players hold another vote to decide if the game should continue, but this time they vote in reverse order. Gi-hun can't vote because he's still restrained to the bed, but it wouldn't have changed much. Most players now want to keep playing. Only 18 want to leave, while 41 choose to stay, so the games will continue the next day. After the vote, Player 100 leads a group accusing Gi-hun of planning the rebellion just to kill off other players and keep more prize money for himself. They thank him for helping by getting rid of so many players that wanted to leave the game. Then Son Yeo, player 44, confronts him directly, screaming that he'll hear his dead friend's screams for the rest of his life. The normally calm Gi-hun becomes furious and tries to attack her, but other players hold him back as he starts losing control. Meanwhile, Noel's boss takes her to the secret operating room where they harvest organs. He compliments her shooting skills and asks why she escaped from the north, then makes inappropriate advances. She avoids it, insisting on seeing the operating room first. Inside, the organ smuggling team is getting ready to operate on Jung-soo. They're angry when Noel enters wearing her mask, since no one wears masks in the operating room. So Noel takes off her mask, showing everyone who she really is. Just as the doctor is about to start the operation, Noel suddenly starts shooting. She takes down several guards with her superior skills. After killing most of them, she tells her dying boss she escaped North Korea after killing a commander just like him. When he laughs weakly, she shoots him in the head. She then orders the surviving doctor to save Young-soo's life, or she will kill him. During dinner in the dorms, some players try to help Gi-hun. Jung-jae offers him food, but he's too numb to eat. Hyunju apologizes for not bringing back ammunition during the rebellion, but Young-sik interrupts. He reveals the real problem was Dae-ho, who actually got more bullets but was too scared to return. This news changes Gi-hun. His empty stare turns deadly as he focuses on Dae-ho, watching him eat alone on his bed. Meanwhile in the city, Junho checks off searched islands on his map. Yusuk joins him and suggests they talk over a drink. Junho agrees to talk, but turns down the alcohol. Yusuk shares his suspicions about Captain Park. He saw him holding a screwdriver the night the drone operator disappeared. Junho defends the captain, explaining that he doesn't remember much after being shot on the island. The only thing he knows is what his mother told him, that Captain Park saved his life. Then Junho turns the tables, pointing out that Yusuk was the last person seen with the missing drone operator. They had been drinking together. Junho ends the conversation, telling Yusuk to sober up and go to bed. After finding a new drone operator, the team prepares to set sail again. Yusuk calls Junho and tells him he won't be coming along this time. He explains he needs to follow up on something important on land. Before hanging up, Yusuk advises Junho to watch Captain Park carefully. As the boat pulls away, Yusuk turns to his companion and asks for a ride to a specific location. On the boat, Captain Park hears that Yusuk didn't come aboard. He comments that Yusuk wasn't helpful to their mission anyway. Back at the games, morning comes, and Dae-ho finally notices Gi-hun's intense stare. Guards announce the next game is starting. At the same time, the frontman learns the VIP guests have arrived. The guards lead the players out of their sleeping area. As they walk up the stairs, they see the bodies of the players who rebelled are hanging by their wrists in the middle of the stairway. A voice comes over the speakers, saying these players broke the game's rules by trying to stop it with violence. The voice warns that this is what happens to anyone who tries to fight against the games. The players enter a strange room with an unusual doorway, one side shaped like a knife, the other like a keyhole. A colorful gumball machine sits in front of them, filled with red and blue balls that will determine their fate. Each player must randomly select a ball, assigning them to either the red or blue team for a deadly version of hide-and-seek. Those who draw red balls become hunters, armed with knives, forced to find and kill at least one blue team member within 30 minutes, or face elimination themselves. They are also forbidden from killing each other. The blue team members receive keys to unlock hiding places, but every opened door remains permanently open, meaning they can be easily found. A few lucky doors lead to freedom, offering blue players a slim chance to escape alive. Chaos erupts as players realize the implications. Friends and family members find themselves on opposing sides. A heartbreaking moment comes when Jung-jae sees she's been given a red ball, while her son Young-sik holds a blue one. However, it is announced that players can choose to switch teams before the game starts. In the operating room, the doctor completes emergency surgery on Young-soo. With no blood supply available, Noelle volunteers to donate her universal type O blood to save the critically injured player. Once stabilized, the doctor pleads for mercy, but Noelle shows none. As Young-suk begins to regain consciousness, Noelle quickly puts her uniform back on, then looks at the doctor's uniform as an escape plan hits her. She leans in close and whispers that she'll help him get out alive. Back in the deadly game, Myung-gi manages to convince his ex-girlfriend Jun-hui to switch teams. He promises to protect her and her baby, believing she's too kind to end anyone's life. Now on the red team, Myung-gi attracts the attention of Nam-gyu, player 124, another red team member who wants to partner up. Nam-gyu flatters Myung-gi, praising him for taking out Thanos and admitting he's afraid to hunt alone since the blue team might fight back. Myung-gi agrees to team up. Nam-gyu then bullies Min-soo, telling him he should switch teams because he's clearly too weak to eliminate anyone. He cruelly reminds Min-soo how he hid during the night while he ended the life of the girl Min-soo liked. Meanwhile, the team selections create more tension. Dae-ho gets a blue ball while Gi-hun gets a red one, and immediately stares at Dae-ho with clear intent. Knowing Gi-hun is targeting him, Dae-ho desperately tries to switch teams. When no one agrees, Dae-ho snaps. He confronts Gi-hun, shouting that the failed rebellion was Gi-hun's fault, and they should have stuck to the original plan of eliminating players who wanted to continue playing. Guards quickly step in, pointing a rifle at the out-of-control Dae-ho. Meanwhile, Young-sik switches teams with his mother because her bad knees would make it hard for her to chase people. He promises to kill someone quickly and come back for her. His mother reminds him she's tough, having survived abuse from his father for years. She also has a knife hidden in her hair clip that she'll use if needed. But secretly, she's terrified for her son. She knows he's never been able to hurt anyone in his life. He always came home beaten up as a kid. She begs him to find the strength inside to kill just one person so they can both make it out alive. In a humorous moment, player 100, who has constantly criticized Gi-hun, approaches, hoping to switch teams. But one look from Gi-hun makes it clear there will be no deal. When the game starts, the blue team enters a strange game room that looks like a maze with many levels and glowing painted stars on the ceiling. A voice announces they have 2 minutes to hide before the red team begins hunting them. Player 100, who always thinks of himself first, surprisingly tells everyone to split up and search for the exit. He says if someone finds it, they should yell so others can escape too. When Jung-jae starts having pain and can't walk well, Jeon steps forward to help her. Young-soo sees this and decides to stay with them to protect both the pregnant woman and the elderly one. After the blue team's 2 minutes pass, the hunt begins. Each red player has their own plan. Gi-hun cares only about finding Daeho. Namju takes another pill from the necklace he stole from Thanos. All the red players grip their knives tightly as they start searching the maze. The three friends work together to find doors they can open. They discover their keys have different shapes: triangle, circle, and square, and that doors require matching keys. They agree Ha-joon should hold all their keys so they can open any door they find and move faster as a group. While Gi-hun hunts for Daeho, he sees someone who resembles him from behind and chases the individual. When he sees it isn't him, he lets the person go. Then he spots the real Daeho on a level below. Daeho sees Gi-hun coming and tries to hide, but another red team member finds him first. They fight on the stairs where the attacker slashes Daeho's leg, but Daeho shoves him down the stairs to his death. The attacker's knife breaks, so Daeho takes the broken blade to protect himself. Meanwhile, Myung-hee and Namju work together. When they find a blue team player, they decide to attack at the same time, so the game counts it as half a kill for each. They eliminate the player quickly, and now only need one more kill together. The three friends are discovered by a red team hunter. They rush up the stairs in panic, but Jung-jae slips and badly twists her ankle, collapsing in pain. Jung-jae turns back to help her, while Hyunju stands against the attacker. The red team player demands Hyunju move aside, so he can eliminate the old woman to complete his kill, but Hyunju refuses. After a brief struggle, Hyunju defeats him and takes his knife. At the same time, Myung-hee and Namju kill another blue team player, securing their spot in the next round. Junhwa hears about this and feels relieved, remembering Myung-jee's promise to protect her once he got his required kill. But Namju convinces Myung-jee they should keep killing. Eliminating more blue players means less competition for the prize money. They go on a violent rampage, unaware Namju dropped the stolen necklace during the chaos. Later, timid Min-soo finds the lost necklace and, knowing he can't kill anyone, swallows one of its pills. Player 100 comes up with a sneaky plan. He realizes he needs 3 keys to open all doors. He pretends to team up with another blue player to search for the exit, but when they open a door with a red hunter inside, player 100 shoves his partner at the hunter, slams the door shut, and listens as the man is killed. Once silent, he reopens the door and takes the dead man's key. Meanwhile, Seonyo uses another cruel trick. She lies to her followers, claiming she hears voices leading to the exit. She guides them straight into Myung-hee and Namju's path. While they're attacked, she sneaks away. During her escape, she bumps into Daeho and notices his injured leg. Later, she runs into Gi-hun. Though Gi-hun doesn't want to kill her, she bargains for her life. She tells him where to find wounded Daeho, saying he can follow the blood trail. The three friends finally find a hiding spot. They check Junhwae's ankle and realize it's broken. Junhwae begs them to leave her, saying she'll slow them down. But after everything, they refuse to abandon her. Suddenly, Junhwae's water breaks. With Junhwae biting her jacket to stay quiet, Gyeomja helps deliver a healthy baby girl. For a moment, the joy of new life makes them forget the horror around them. But the baby's crying gives away their hiding spot. A red hunter finds them, and Hyunju fights him. During the struggle, Hyunju gets stabbed in the leg, but manages to kill the attacker. The room where the fight ends contains the exit door. Using all 3 keys, Hyunju opens it. Cheerful music plays, congratulating Hyunju on completing the game. Hyunju could walk through to safety right then, but instead chooses to go back for Gyeomja and Junhwae with the baby. Just as Hyunju returns to share the good news about the exit, Myung-jee, who's been killing people unnecessarily with Namju, stabs Hyunju from behind. Junhwae stares in horror. He'd already won the game. He didn't need to kill anyone else, especially not the person who protected her. Filled with shame, Myung-hee silently walks away, dragging Namju with him. The story returns to 2 of the most selfish players, Seon-yo, and player 100. Seon-yo finds the exit, but lacks all 3 keys. She goes back into the dangerous maze to find the keys, using blood to mark the walls so she can find her way back later. Player 100 hides from Jung-jae and Nam-ju, covering himself in blood to play dead. When Seon-yo tries to take his keys, he grabs her. She explains she found the exit but needs his keys. She leads him through the maze, but just as they open the exit door, player 100 betrays her. He pushes her back, takes 1 key, and slams the door shut, escaping alone. As Seon-yo screams in rage, Min-soo appears, disoriented from the pills. He mumbles about saving Semi, the girl Nam-ju killed. Seon-yo yells at him to leave, but the delusional Min-soo mistakes her for Nam-ju and kills her. Meanwhile, Gi-hun follows the blood trail and corners Daeho. Daeho confesses he lied about being a Marine. His tattoo was fake, and he'd never held a gun. He only pretended to be tough, because he thought that was the only way to survive with Gi-hun's group. Daeho begs for mercy, and Gi-hun hesitates, until Daeho slashes him with a hidden broken knife. A fight breaks out, where both lose their weapons. In the end, Gi-hun chokes Daeho to death, as he whispers with his last breath that everything was Gi-hun's fault. Jung-jae and Jin-hui reach the exit after gathering keys from Hyunju's body. Just as Jung-jae is about to open it, her son Young-sik appears. Earlier, Young-sik failed to kill a begging blue player and was nearly killed himself until another red team member intervened and saved him. Now with time running out, Young-sik sees Jin-hui and the baby as his last chance to survive. As he moves toward them with his knife, Jung-jae steps between them, offering her own life instead. But Young-sik pushes past his mother and lunges at Jun-hui. Jung-jae stabs her own son in the back with her hairpin blade to protect Jun-hui and the baby. Young-sik collapses, badly wounded but still alive. Time runs out and the arriving guards show no mercy. They shoot him dead right in front of his devastated mother. Meanwhile, Gi-hun is so haunted by Daeho's dying words that he nearly ends his life with a knife. A guard stops him by shooting the knife away and knocking him unconscious. Elsewhere, guards collecting bodies are attacked by a hiding red team player who doesn't want to be eliminated. His partner saves him with a quick shot. Breaking the rules, they remove their masks. More guards join them, and they set out excitedly to hunt down remaining players hiding in the upper levels. Back in the dormitory, Nam-gyu panics when he realizes he's lost Thanos' special necklace containing his performance-enhancing pills. When guards refuse to let him search for it, he fights them until they pin him down, only to be interrupted by the sound of a crying baby. Jung-jae and Jin-hui enter with the newborn, silencing the room. Myung-gi is relieved to see them but stays away, ashamed of having killed Hyunju. Gi-hun, still restrained, doesn't even notice the baby in his numb state. Noel helps Jung-suk escape from the operating room, disguising him as a pink guard. Though confused about why she's helping him, Young-suk follows her instructions carefully. An announcement declares that the hide-and-seek game has eliminated 110 players. The prize money now totals 43.1 billion won, meaning each of the remaining 25 players would receive 1.7 billion won if they voted to stop. As players prepare to vote, wealthy VIPs gather in a private room. One excited VIP gushes about finally participating in person after years of remote viewing. These VIPs, disguised earlier as guards to eliminate underperforming red team members, compare the experience favorably to African hunting safaris. The frontman humbly credits the founder's vision, prompting a toast. The deputy commander receives an urgent radio call. Guards cannot reach the operating room. He orders an investigation. At sea, Detective Junho gets a call from Yuseok. Local fishermen don't recognize Captain Park, but Junho remains unconvinced of wrongdoing and sends a drone to scan a nearby island. During the vote, Namju, suffering withdrawal, shockingly votes to stop. Min-soo, now hoarding the pills, confidently votes to continue. Jung-jae kneels, begging others to save the baby, even offering her prize money. Her pleas are ignored. The final tally, 16 vote to continue. Gi-hun, restrained, cannot vote. Nearly all players, except player 100, already have enough to pay their debts, but choose to keep playing anyway. In the operating room, soldiers find the dead bodies of their fellow guards. They don't realize the person on the operating table is actually a guard and not a player. Meanwhile, Noel gives Jung-suk a key marked 16 and tells him exactly how to act like guard number 16 without getting caught. After he leaves, she climbs into a ventilation shaft to move around secretly. When guards notice guard 16 is missing from the operating room where he was supposed to be working as the surgeon, they check security cameras and see someone they think is guard 16 in his room. The deputy commander orders him brought in, but Noel ambushes him from the vent, admitting to the killings. She demands a boat and permission to patrol the outer area with guard 16. Though he resists initially, Noel Jamal later receives a boat key hidden in her food. The deputy commander senses something is off between Noel and Guard 16, so he orders guards to re-examine the operating room. They scan the body on the table and discover the corpse is Guard 16, meaning the imposter is player 246. At sea, Junho spots an island he recognizes. Despite the captain's warning about dangerous tides, Junho goes ashore and confirms it's the place where the frontman shot him. Now certain the game island must be nearby, they plan to resume searching at dawn. In the dormitory, Jung-jae shares food with Junhui, who apologizes for Young-soo's death. Jung-jae tells her not to apologize and urges her to focus on surviving for her baby's sake. She then tries to comfort Gi-hun, saying the rebellion deaths weren't his fault, and shares her own painful story, how she used to mistreat her son for being weak, driving him to attempt the unthinkable, and how she ended up killing him despite her promises to protect him. She reminds Gi-hun of his original purpose for returning to the games and begs him to at least save the baby. Gi-hun remains silent. That night, guards suddenly enter with a coffin to retrieve Jung-jae's body. She had joined the games solely to save her child, not for money, and with him gone, she saw no reason to live. Yusok's investigation leads him to Captain Park's house, where he finds a photo of the captain with the Squid Game recruiter. Suddenly, a Rottweiler attacks Yusok, forcing him to shoot the dog. Before fleeing, he discovers more evidence, a container full of cash and an official guard uniform hidden under the dog's cage. As Yusok processes this, police arrive and arrest him. The next morning, the surviving players prepare for a new game. Namgyu struggles without his pills. As they leave the dorm, Gi-hun notices Junhui struggling to walk while carrying her newborn and steps in to help. Junhui confesses she thought having a baby would give her purpose, but instead it led to her friend's death. Gi-hun comforts her, insisting that everyone in the games chose their own fate. Then he promises to protect her and her child. Meanwhile, the VIPs discuss their bets. One VIP reveals he accidentally bet on Junhui while drunk. To make things more interesting, the other VIPs agree to count both Junhui and her baby as player 222, believing a mother's strength to protect her child will compensate for Junhui's injured leg. The frontman then reveals the next game on a big screen. It's a deadly version of jump rope. The female doll from Red Light Green Light stands at one end of a high bridge, while a male doll stands at the other, both holding a massive rope. When the players arrive, they learn they have 20 minutes to cross a narrow bridge while jumping over the swinging rope. The bridge is extremely high, so missing a jump means certain death. The guards make it clear Junhui must take her baby with her, or the baby will be eliminated. When the countdown begins, player 100 tries his usual selfish tricks, attempting to force others to go first. But everyone is too scared to move, until Min-soo shows Namgyu the missing necklace and throws it onto the bridge. Desperate for his pills, Namgyu runs after it and becomes the first to attempt the game. He does well until he freezes upon finding it empty and is knocked off. Gi-hun straps the baby to his chest using Junhui's jacket and jumps onto the bridge. After some shaky moments, he makes it safely to the other side, impressing the watching VIPs. He then tries to return for Junhui, but his success has inspired other players and they start crossing too, blocking his path. Player 96 also makes it across, but then starts pushing other players off the bridge as they arrive. He tells Gi-hun they could eliminate everyone, vote to leave, and share the money. While Gi-hun tries to stop player 96, exhausted players fall while player 96 pushes others to their deaths. Even when one player turns back to safety, another player heartlessly pushes her off. The VIPs watch excitedly as the players turn on each other. Gi-hun threatens to throw player 96 off if he doesn't stop, so player 96 gets scared and steps away, allowing the players to make it to safety. Meanwhile, Junhui tries practicing jumps, but can't even stand. Myunggi offers help, but Junhui refuses, blaming him for Hyunju's death. He claims it was an accident and wants them to escape together as a family, but Junhui tells him to stay away from her and the baby, so he leaves. As Gi-hun urges players to hurry so he can rescue Junhui, player 96 attacks him. Both men fall just by the edge of the bridge, preventing other players from crossing. Gi-hun gouges out player 96's eye and pushes him back onto the bridge, where the swinging rope finally knocks him off. Min-soo, high on pills, and Myungji make it across. With just over a minute left, Gi-hun faces an impossible task, crossing back to get Junhui. But Junhui shouts that she doesn't want to risk Gi-hun's life and leave her baby alone. She tells Gi-hun to raise her child, then jumps from the platform. Meanwhile, Young-soo and No-ul carefully make their way to the outer perimeter, hoping to escape by boat. But the deputy commander is already organizing armed guards to chase them once they're on the water. The VIPs argue about whether to keep the baby in the competition or eliminate her. Their only concern is winning bets, and without her mother, the baby can't play on her own. Some insist the baby should stay since she technically completed the bridge challenge. They ask the frontman to decide. The frontman declares the baby will officially replace her mother as player 222. He explains this will make the voting and games more exciting. The VIPs cheer as player 222's profile reactivates in the system. Back in the dormitory, 2 players talk about convincing others to vote to stop the games. With only 8 players left, the prize would be huge. But guards interrupt to announce 9 players remain. The baby now counts as the 9th. The prize now exceeds 4 billion won per person. The situation creates tension as the other players approach Gi-hun to take the baby and eliminate her. The guards quickly stop them, warning that violence outside of games won't be allowed anymore. At the police station, Yoon-soo tells officers that the strange costumes and hidden money found at Park's house are evidence of Captain Park's involvement in the deadly games. But the officer says the costumes look like toys and that hiding cash at home isn't necessarily suspicious. Yoon-soo then shows the photo, proving Captain Park knows the game recruiter. Still, the officer points out that Park has almost no criminal history, just one small illegal gambling fine, while Yoon-soo himself is wanted for multiple offenses. The police officer then calls Captain Park. He tells Park about Yoon-soo breaking into his house and making accusations against him. Hearing Yoon-soo in the background desperately asking for his phone to call a lawyer, Park hangs up and immediately contacts another captain working with the second investigation team. He orders the captain to kill everyone on that team. Then Park grabs a gun. Yoon-soo acts fast. He snatches his phone back and calls Jun-ho, relaying all the evidence he found in Park's house before police restrain him. Jun-ho hears sudden gunfire as Captain Park executes the unarmed crew. He takes cover, secures a weapon, and wounds Park in the shootout. In his dying moments, Park admits he only rescued Jun-ho under orders from the frontman, but refuses to reveal the island's location. The night before the final game, the last remaining players get dressed up in nice suits and enjoy a fancy dinner together. Even the baby is included. The guards specially prepare a milk bottle for her. Before voting, they learn about a big rule change. They'll get to choose which players get eliminated during the final competition. They must choose at least 3 people. This means as few as 6 players could survive the final game and split the prize money. The VIPs had worried players might vote to end the games, so the frontman created this new rule to trick them into continuing. His plan works perfectly. When the vote happens, the 6 most selfish players, the ones who had been brutally eliminating others throughout the games, overwhelmingly vote to keep playing, not caring that this puts the baby in danger. The VIPs are happy the frontman understood how greedy the players would be, though he refuses to tell them what the final game will be. Jun-ho thinks back to earlier on the boat. He had shown his team the spot where he was shot after escaping the island. He told them how he swam through an underwater tunnel using an air tank. The swim took about 40 minutes before he reached that beach. Using this information, they had drawn possible locations on their map. But then Captain Park did something strange. He crossed out one specific area on the map and said firmly that the island couldn't be there. Now, Jun-ho believes that's exactly where the island is hidden. As Jung-soo and No-ul try to escape by boat, the deputy commander calls No-ul. He knows everything about Jung-soo, including that his young daughter's fighting cancer in the hospital. He tells her Jung-soo can't hide from them. This makes No-ul turn the boat around. She tells Jung-soo to try to reach safety on his own, as she has unfinished business to handle. Back in the dormitory, the 6 ruthless players form an alliance. Led by the selfish player 100, they choose Gi-hun, the innocent baby, and Min-soo, whom they dismiss as a drug addict due to his visible withdrawal symptoms, as the 3 players to be eliminated in the next game. After the other players fall asleep, the frontman calls Gi-hun to a private meeting. He offers Gi-hun a knife with a proposal. Kill all the sleeping players to instantly win the game. Since only 2 players can't continue to the next round, this would make Gi-hun and the baby the winners by default. Gi-hun demands to know why he's receiving this special treatment. The frontman removes his mask. Gi-hun is stunned to see In-ho, player 1, who everyone believed died in the rebellion. In-ho explains that if Gi-hun kills him, another frontman would simply take over, and the games would continue as normal, drastically reducing Gi-hun and the baby's chances of survival. Gi-hun returns to the dorm where all the other players lie unconscious from drinking. He moves toward player 100 and presses the blade against his neck, but hesitates. The frontman watches, remembering facing the same choice years ago. Back then, as a player, he had slaughtered all the sleeping contestants to claim victory. Gi-hun sees a vision of Se-byuk, the young woman who became his friend in the previous games. Her memory reminds him of his humanity. He removes the knife and turns away. The frontman observes in silence, realizing Gi-hun has demonstrated more humanity than he himself ever possessed. No-il sneaks back into the facility through a ventilation shaft. Moving quietly through hidden passageways, she reaches her boss's room while he's in the bathroom. When he comes out, she confronts him. The deputy commander remains calm, asking if she's brought Jung-soo back as originally ordered. No-il makes it clear she only returned to destroy all records of player 246's existence. Though he complies and deletes the records, No-il insists even his personal knowledge must be erased. The deputy commander calmly reveals that even if she kills him, one final copy remains, locked in the frontman's private office that only 2 people can enter: himself and the frontman. Meanwhile, Jung-soo struggles to navigate the boat through dense fog that limits his visibility. On nearby waters, Junho hears a radio transmission from the frontman warning him to stop searching for the island or it will cost him his life. The players wake in the morning completely unaware that Gi-hun nearly killed them in their sleep. They are taken to the arena for the 6th and final game. There they see 3 enormous pillars. One pillar opens to reveal an elevator inside. When they reach the top, they realize the pillars are shaped like the game's 3 signature symbols: circle, triangle, and square. A voice explains they will be playing Squid Game, a deadlier version of the original. Starting on the square platform, they must progress through each shape. At each stage, they must push at least 1 living player off the edge before time expires. Those remaining on the final circle platform, when time runs out, will be declared winners. However, the game only officially begins when someone presses a central button. Any pushes before that moment won't count. If no one gets pushed off any platform before time runs out, every player will be eliminated. No-il forces the deputy commander at gunpoint to take her to the frontman's office. In the elevator, he suddenly turns on her, and they fight through the elevator and into the office. Eventually, the deputy commander gains the upper hand and pins No-il down. He demands to know why she's risking everything, asking if she's in love with Jung-soo. No-il explains it's about his daughter. Without her father, the sick little girl will surely die. The deputy commander reminds No-il that she abandoned her own daughter in the north to save herself. He reveals he selected her as a guard because she crossed borders like he once did, thinking they were alike. Had he known her true motives, he would have made her compete as a player instead. The deputy commander shares his own tragic story. He lost someone he loved because he couldn't get them a kidney transplant. Now he runs an operation that harvests organs for people who need them while also making money. Then he stabs No-il in the stomach, leaving her bleeding badly on the floor. A call interrupts him. The final game is ready to start. The deputy commander orders them to begin without him, saying he'll watch from his screen. Looking down at the wounded No-il as she crawls toward the elevator, he promises her a quick death and says she can't escape since the elevator requires his mask to operate. But the deputy commander made one mistake. During their earlier fight in the elevator, he disarmed No-il. As the elevator doors open, she grabs the weapon and fires several shots, ending his life. High on the game platform, Min-soo's body shakes from withdrawal symptoms, causing him to hallucinate. He imagines Thanos dangling over the edge, holding out the pills he craves. Just as he reaches for them, Thanos' face changes into Nam-ju's. Nam-ju accuses him of stealing his precious necklace. This imagined confrontation devastates Min-soo. Only Myung-gi notices Min-soo's strange behavior. Meanwhile, the other players gather around player 100 as he steps on the red button, initiating the game's 15-minute countdown. They agree to push only 1 player off each round so that 6 of them can survive together. Their first target is the baby, whom they believe was forced into the game. They try to convince Gi-hun that protecting the baby is pointless now that she's an orphan. Myung-gi speaks up against the plan. He argues that separating them would be too difficult, and if they eliminate both now, the remaining players would eventually turn on each other later. Instead, he suggests targeting Min-soo, who is weak from withdrawal. The group votes and agrees. They surround the terrified Min-soo, who continues crying and apologizing, confused as to why everyone always picks on him. However, they face another problem. Who will actually push him and risk falling too? Myung-gi resolves this by grabbing the metal pole from the platform's center and shoving Min-soo off. In his final moments, Min-soo hallucinates holding hands with Semi. When time runs out, the remaining players carefully cross a narrow bridge to the triangle-shaped platform. The VIPs watch everything with excitement. The group refuses to start the second round until they can take the baby away from Gi-hun. Even the baby's own father, Myung-gi, agrees with the plan.
All right.
Gi-hun stands firm, refusing to let go of the baby. Tired of waiting, player 203 suddenly starts the game and orders another to push Gi-hun and the baby off. As the player raises the long pole to strike, Gi-hun points out that the group will likely turn on him next, since they'll need to eliminate someone in the following round as well. This makes the player hesitate, and he returns to the group to reconsider their plan. While the deadly game continues, several events unfold simultaneously. No-il succeeds in finding Young-soo's records in the facility's archives. Meanwhile, on the water, the pursuing guards shoot at Young-soo's boat, damaging the engine and halting his escape. Back in the game arena, Myung-gi devises a plan to separate Gi-hun from the baby. The group uses rock, paper, scissors to decide who will carry out the task. Player 336 loses and is chosen. At the same time, guards surround Young-soo's boat, but Jun-ho and his last surviving teammate arrive just in time, shooting the guards and rescuing him. In the game, the group ties their jackets together to create a safety rope and fastens it around player 336's waist. The others hold the rope as player 336 approaches Gi-hun, attempting to pull him toward the center so they can grab the baby and then push Gi-hun off the platform. However, Gi-hun is too close to the edge. Player 336 tries to trick him into moving closer, suggesting they draw straws to decide who should jump. Gi-hun suspects a trap and refuses. As the group argues over what to do next, player 336 suddenly grabs Gi-hun while the others yank the rope. Gi-hun swiftly cuts the rope with his hidden knife. The sudden movement causes several players to lose balance, with one nearly falling off the edge. Gi-hun corners player 336, but then Myung-gi shocks everyone by using the pole to push player 336 off the platform instead. He then reveals he's actually on Gi-hun's side, claiming the baby is his daughter. He explains that all this time, he wanted to protect the child and start a family with Jun-ho when they escaped, but she refused. The other players don't believe him, pointing out that he had voted to eliminate the baby earlier. The watching VIPs love this dramatic twist and praise the frontman's selection of players, especially for bringing Gi-hun back. Myung-gi suggests teaming up with Gi-hun since they both now have weapons. Hearing this, the remaining 4 players become scared and turn on player 39, beating him unconscious. They tell Myung-gi and Gi-hun they will use player 39 as their next sacrifice. They just need to wait for time to run out, then throw him off the final platform to win. Gi-hun refuses this plan and suggests drawing lots fairly instead, causing another fight to break out. In the chaos, Myung-gi pushes another player off, while Gi-hun is forced to stab another in self-defense. Now only 5 remain: the baby, Gi-hun, Myung-gi, the beaten player 39, and the selfish player 100. Myung-gi turns his attention to player 100. Scared for his life, player 100 suggests they sacrifice the injured player instead, so the 4 survivors could each get over 11 billion won. For the first time, player 100 is being honest. This prize money would finally pay off his huge 10 billion won debt. He even offers to share any money beyond what he needs. But Myung-gi knows he'll get a bigger share if player 100 is gone. He pushes him off the platform without a second thought. When time runs out, only 4 players remain for the final round. The beaten player 39 realizes he's the obvious candidate to be eliminated. Refusing to be anyone's sacrifice, he throws himself off the platform. Meanwhile, Jun-ho and the mercenary leader catch Young-soo, who swears he's innocent. Using the scanner found in Young-soo's uniform, they confirm he's actually a player, not a guard. When Jun-ho demands to know where the game island is, Young-soo points through the fog to the island's location. Back at the game arena, only 3 players remain: Gi-hun, Myung-gi, and the baby. The voice instructs them to move to the final platform for the last round. Myung-gi crosses first while Gi-hun prepares the baby. Myung-gi grabs a metal pole and orders Gi-hun to stay behind and hand over the baby. Gi-hun refuses, asking if Myung-gi realizes this means he'll have to choose between killing himself or his own child. Myung-gi admits he understands this terrible choice. The countdown begins, leaving Gi-hun with just 5 minutes to cross the bridge. Meanwhile, No-ul sets fire to all the player records in the archives while clutching her stomach wound. As she leaves, she spots another file marked lists containing secret reports on all the guards. She finds her own file. It reveals everything about her escape from North Korea, her past job, and proof that her daughter is truly dead. This shatters No-ul, who had clung to the hope that her child might still be alive. On the island, an officer alerts the frontman that radar has detected a massive boat approaching. On the boat, Jun-ho informs his partner that the Coast Guard is approaching. He puts on his diving gear and leaves his friend to watch over the wounded Young-soo. Gi-hun attempts to move forward, but Myung-gi stops him. Gi-hun warns that if he and the baby don't cross, they'll all die together when the timer runs out. Myung-gi doesn't care. Gi-hun offers to sacrifice himself when the final round begins, but Myung-gi doesn't trust him. He accuses Gi-hun of being manipulative and planning to kill him to steal the prize money, just as he believes Gi-hun did in the previous game he won. When Gi-hun insists he only wants to protect the baby, Myung-gi snaps that Gi-hun is obsessed with saving the baby because he must have been in love with Jung-jae. With just 40 seconds remaining, Gi-hun makes a difficult choice. He puts the baby down on the bridge and steps back. Myung-gi uses his pole to pull the baby to safety on his side. While Myung-gi is distracted, Gi-hun grabs a knife from the dead player behind him and immediately makes a daring leap from the retracting bridge onto the circular platform, landing solidly on the final pillar. The two men fight each other as a voice announces someone must press the red button to start the final round. When the button appears in the center, Myung-gi panics as Gi-hun starts winning the fight. In desperation, Myung-gi grabs his own baby and holds her over the edge, threatening to drop her unless Gi-hun gives up. Gi-hun immediately drops his knife to save the baby. Myung-gi carefully puts the baby down safely, then suddenly picks up the knife and attacks Gi-hun. As they struggle near the edge, both men fall off the platform. Gi-hun manages to grab a metal bar with one hand and his jacket with the other. Myung-gi clings to Gi-hun's jacket below him, but the fabric tears and Myung-gi plummets to his death. Gi-hun pulls himself up as the VIPs cheer, excited to see their previous champion win again. However, Gi-hun and the baby remain, and since the red button hasn't been pressed, the final round hasn't technically started. Gi-hun quietly presses the button, officially beginning the endgame. The frontman learns the Coast Guard is approaching, putting everyone on alert. At the same time, No-il attempts to end her life, but stops when she sees Gi-hun holding the baby on a screen. All eyes are on Gi-hun, as the VIPs and frontman wait to see if he'll end the baby's life to win. After a long pause, Gi-hun kisses the baby's forehead, wraps her carefully in both her mother's jacket, marked 222, and his own, marked 456, then sets her down safely. Standing at the platform's edge, he says quietly but firmly, "We're not racehorses, we're people." Without hesitation, he jumps off, leaving the baby as the only survivor. The VIPs are stunned. Their entire game was built on forcing people to do whatever it requires to win the money. Gi-hun's final act, choosing the baby's life over billions, destroys their lack of faith in humanity. Watching this on screen, No-il lowers her gun, finding new purpose in Gi-hun's sacrifice. With authorities approaching, the frontman orders everyone to evacuate. He starts a 30-minute bomb countdown to destroy all evidence. Jun-ho sneaks through tunnels onto the island, finds the bomb, but keeps going toward the frontman's office. No-il escapes by wearing her dead boss's mask. When the frontman goes to collect the baby, he pauses at Gi-hun's body. For years, he believed money was everything. Now he sees the truth. Gi-hun chose life over greed. Jun-ho bursts into the empty VIP room just as the frontman holds the baby. He shoots through the glass, demanding answers from his brother. The frontman doesn't answer and silently rides the elevator down as helicopters and cars flee the island, including one carrying wounded No-il. With 30 seconds left, the entire facility has been successfully evacuated. Jun-ho also manages to escape as the entire island explodes behind him. Later, someone breaks into Gi-hun's old motel, where he kept his prize money. The shadowy figure shoots open a locked door, revealing stacks of cash inside. 6 months after the games, we see how everyone's lives have changed. At the amusement park where they once worked, Young-soo is back drawing portraits. When No-il sits for a sketch, he doesn't recognize her as the woman who saved his life. She smiles as she watches him with his daughter, who has recovered from her illness, thanks to many people's help. As No-il leaves the park, she gets hopeful news. There might be sightings of her missing daughter in China. She immediately prepares to travel there and investigate. 6 months later, Yoo-seok is released from prison. He meets up with Jun-ho. As they drive together, Yoo-seok shares that his whole life was about finding the Squid Game recruiter, and now he doesn't know what to do next. Jun-ho tells him he's not a detective anymore. Yoo-seok suggests they could become loan sharks together, but Jun-ho reminds him they have no money to start that business. Even Gi-hun's pile of cash is gone. Jun-ho explains that when he checked the motel room where the prize money was hidden, it was already empty. Yoo-seok guesses maybe Gi-hun took all the cash for himself, not knowing that Gi-hun actually died in the games. Jun-ho returns home to find the baby waiting, wearing her mother's jacket. There's a black envelope containing a bank card in Junho's name. When he enters 222 as the PIN at an ATM, it shows 45.6 billion won, the prize money left for the baby's care. In a touching moment at the airport, a family reunites. The mother of Se-byuk finally reunites with her son, thanks to Gi-hun's efforts before he died. Nearby, Noel boards a plane to China, continuing her search for her daughter. Yoo-seok and his friend take over Gi-hun's old pink motel, still wondering who took the hidden money. Across the ocean in Los Angeles, the frontman approaches a comfortable suburban home. When he rings the doorbell, Ga-young, Gi-hun's daughter, answers. She is angry at her father for not coming to see her, but the frontman quietly explains that her father has passed away and that he is only there to deliver his belongings. When Ga-young opens the package, she sees Gi-hun's game uniform and a debit card containing his prize money. In the city, as the frontman leaves, he notices a woman playing deedakji with a homeless man on the street. She locks eyes with him briefly, then looks away and continues the paper-flipping game. She's now the one who will recruit desperate people for future games. Though this story ends here, the message is clear. The deadly games will continue, and they're coming to America next. The ending makes an important point about human nature. While the guards and VIPs were clearly cruel, many regular players were just as bad. They were willing to hurt and kill each other just to win more money. The show reminds us that when people become desperate enough, even normal people can do terrible things to survive or get ahead, revealing the darkness inside ordinary people when money and survival are on the line.